have a full complement at your disposal for the final?
Oh, not quite. Elliot Yeo won't be available. So, but we've got some players coming back. There's no doubt about that. So Gov will play, Shuey will play, Redden will play, and so will Cripper. And then we'll have to make a call on some others. But there's at least 4 changes.
How has Josh Kennedy gone late in the week?
Good. Yeah, he trained fully on Wednesday night. So he, at this stage, we've got another captain's run today. Pulled up pretty well yesterday, so he gets through today. We'll make a decision then, but we think he'll play.
What's changed with him, Adam? On the day it happened, you were really confident. I think you said it was a garden variety sort of ankle, and you were really confident of him being clearly available. What's gone from that day to now to have him still in a little bit of doubt?
Not a lot's changed. I think there's garden variety is probably not the right terminology. After the game, I think I might have said that a few weeks ago, but no, it was a pretty bad roll, but nothing long term, and we've just given it every chance to recover. So it's a bit the same as McGovern and Redden and these guys. A full week of training is what we needed to get through, and there's one session left. So a bit different with hamstrings and broken bones and ankle. You sort of you don't want to put it through too much of a rigour. So JK's got through these type of things before really easily, and we're anticipating that's going to happen. But we just wanted to make sure he pulls up well.
I guess the selection query is Lewis Jetta, whether you're going to pick him or not, or what's your thinking?
Yeah, I think I've given you enough, haven't I? Told you 4 selections, so we'll give Collingwood something to think about.
Fitness-wise, how is he?
He's good. He's available. Yep. There's like I said, other than Elliot Yeo, there's most of our players are available to play. Unfortunately, there hasn't been any type of scrimmage games that we can play lately. So you got to go off your training form mainly. But we're not alone. I think most clubs, or all clubs, are in the same position. So getting everyone back and available has been really important for us. That extra week for the bye was important for us as well. So we've got a full week on the track. So most of our guys are available.
You've been playing your defenders as midfielders through necessity for a while, Adam. Now that you've got your midfielders available again and your defenders available again, are you likely to go back to the structure that we've seen all season, or is there anyone like Liam Duggan perhaps who has turned your mind into going, he's a midfielder now?
Yeah, we've actually, it's created some opportunities, hasn't it? Tom Cole's played up on the wing. Liam Duggan's played a good role on ball. We drafted him as a midfielder. He's just adapted to the back line a bit differently over the last couple of years. So it's good to have that flexibility. We don't have a lot of opportunities for that flexibility. We have sort of roles for our players, and I don't really flip the magnets around too much unless it's really required. We've got a fair bit of second role education that we do. So we lent on that for a few weeks. I think we had 9 defenders, maybe 10 defenders playing last week. So we'll adjust that with some of our quality mids coming back. But it's good to know we've got options.
Supply's been one of your challenges, or you're the only finalist that's on the negative side of inside 50s for the season. Are you confident that you can rectify that heading into finals?
Yeah, well, I think there's there's a fair bit of what you know is what you get with all clubs going into finals. I don't think we're surprised with the 2 ways the teams played last night. We will play our way, Collingwood will play their way. We're low on inside 50s, what you've just told me. Sometimes it's lack of supply through clearance and contest. Sometimes you're efficient when you go forward. So, we've got a way we want to play. Supply is important for us, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
And given the, there's the recent history between the 2 clubs and the, longer-term history in finals as well, is there any sort of extra anticipation among the players? Do you relish playing the Pies more? I know it's a big final, but is there a big club? You're a big club. It's as much as it's maybe not the top 4 clash, there's a lot on the line, I guess. And,
Well, there's a lot on the line. I don't think it matters who we play, but Collingwood sort of guarantees it's going to be tough, it's going to be close. There's a bit of rhetoric around suggesting it we're overwhelming favourites, and I get the favouritism because we're in a home state, but Collingwood beat us here last year. We've had a good couple of wins, obviously, in the last few years as well, but they've all been pretty close. I mean, last time we played was a blowout, which we'll take if that happens. But we're anticipating a pretty fierce contest, and they're really favouritism in finals. It's not really real, I don't reckon. It's more about two good sides going against each other with plenty of experience, plenty of finals experience, and I think it's going to be on all day.
Do you think that the shorter version of the game will change it a bit, given its finals sort of footy and you're not playing a longer quarters like you have in previous years?
Just looking at last night, it didn't feel that way, did it? It felt like a pretty tough encounter all night. Less room to breathe in finals, and even more so when the game's shortened. You think team defence is pretty switched on all day at the moment, and I'm sure nothing will change. I suppose, more importantly, the contest will be very important, and field position, like you spoke about earlier, and getting that efficiency going forward will be important as well.
Adam, a little bit more of a generic one. How much comfort do you get from having such a unique talent like Nic Naitanui up and going in such great form going into such a big match? What sort of comfort does that give you?
Oh, comfort. That's probably not the right word. I mean, we'd like to think we don't rely on one particular player, but having Nic in our side obviously is an advantage for us. His form this year is all-Australian ruck. His body's feeling good. The shorter game suited him. And he's performed well against the best all year. So, but that's really not in the front or back of my mind. It's everyone playing their role. We play to a pretty solid system that we think stands up. Collingwood do exactly the same thing. So individuals, they're important, and it's important they play well on the big stage, but it's probably more about the collective than ever these days, and hopefully your better players stand up when they need to. But I'm more excited about some of our younger players coming through, to be honest.
It's obviously going to be a really good team on paper, Adam, with all the names you mentioned before. How ready do you feel, a lot of them obviously coming back from injury, how ready do you feel that everyone is right to go for a knockout final?
Well, I think the maturity of the guys we've got coming back in, not once did I think for a second, maybe we shouldn't play Luke Shuey because he might be underdone, or Jack Redden, or Jamie Cripps, or McGovern. I mean, most of these guys have missed 1 or 2 weeks. I think Cripper's missed the most, and it's because he had a child. So it's not like he's been in rehab. He's been ready to go. He's been jumping out of his skin to play. So we got to play a bit of a scratch match last Friday. Everyone looked like they were normal, but there's no guarantees. It comes with a risk, but it's a risk we're more than willing to take.
All right, you're out of quarantine tomorrow officially, or can you leave the house today?
Tomorrow, I get to go and take my son to his game.
What's it been like for them from just moving around and just keeping not being sedentary, I suppose, throughout quarantine? How's that been as part of your preparation?
We've done it before, so we did it last time we come back, and obviously it's a privilege to be able to quarantine at home instead of a hotel. So we've appreciated that, and we've been able to go to the football club as well. So it's been restrictive, but not insurmountable. So and I'm sure Collingwood are the same. As much as they'd like to be at home, they've been in a resort and they've been able to train. So it's the same for both clubs. And it's just the way of the world, so we're not too stressed about it.
Adam, just the boost of being in your own bed and home cooked meals, does it give you even a 1% advantage or lift?
Depends how good the home cooked meals are. We've been living with buffets and pretty good cooked meals in Sanctuary Cove, so there's been an adjustment there at my house with my cooking. So, being with your family is important. So we'll definitely feel like that's been good for us. Good for our mental state. I mean, you really do admire all the clubs who've been on the road for 12 plus weeks and what they've been able to produce and deal with. And that's not just players. I think the staff and even umpires have had a pretty big year on the road. So, and the quality of football's improved as we've gone. And I thought last night was a pretty good hit out from two clubs that had been away from their families for a lot of the year as well.
Demo, just the unique challenge of stopping Jordan to go. Can you talk us a bit through that and the challenge that throws up?
Yeah, they've got some talent. Yeah, and the nucleus of their side's there. I mean, they're missing a couple of players, as are we. But DeGoey didn't play last time, and I don't think Pendlebury played either, and maybe even Elliott. So, yeah, very, very good player. A-grade, game changer. I think he kicked 5 goals a week before he was meant to play us against Geelong, and he's a good form. So we know what we're getting. We'd like to think we've got a pretty good defence that should be able to match it, but he can turn a game in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and obviously Brad Shepherd's just had an amazing year again. I'm assuming he gets the job on the guy. Can you give us that much?
No. Look, it'll happen at some stage. Yeah, you don't want to say there's direct matchups because the game moves so quick, and you really got to leave your man to protect other parts of the ground and playing other players. So, but that matchup will be there at some stage. But I dare say it'll be on others as well. It's more, what do you do if he gets off the chain, and how do you shut him down? We're going to go through those scenarios, that's for sure. Not alone though. It's not just him. There's a few there.
Adam, what do you weigh up when deciding on what player to shut down?
It's probably more around influence, both in your planning. So, we've noticed Pendlebury's been involved in 50% of their scores in the last month. So you've got to look at that and respect that. And then there's in-game strategy as well. In these big games, good players stand up and can really take the game away from you from an individual point of view. So we just got to weigh up what's important. And probably the scoreboard dictates what you do.